Hey, what is going on everyone? Earn with Todd here, and I'm back with another kangaroo hunting video. This time I'm going to be backtesting AUDCAD on the 15-minute chart. We're going to scroll all the way back, and we're going to look at some of the best kangaroos and some of the kangaroos we want to stay away from. So stay tuned, and let's get right into it. So here I got AUDCAD up on the 15-minute chart. I got the kangaroo tail indicator on. By the way, if you haven't already got the kangaroo tail indicator, I left all the links below, and if you want to see how these actually work, just keep watching and let's dive straight into this. So we scrolled all the way back to January 6th of this year, 2020, and we can't go any further. The broker won't let us look at more data. But let's look at some kangaroos. This first one right here, we don't know how much room is to the left because we don't have the data on the side, but let's just say there is some good room to the left. This trade would get triggered, and we obviously didn't go to the left side, so this would have been a losing trade. Let's start moving on. I'm going to go through a lot of them. So let's take a look at this kangaroo. Lots of room to the left that we see. And when you see a kangaroo with lots of room to the left, that's a signal that it could possibly just start going the other way. So on this candle, this kangaroo would have been triggered, trade taken. But over here we see, did it hit? Maybe. Let's pull up our cursor here and see if it did clear. So that actually would have hit stop loss right there. If there was a little buffer, this one could just keep going down. But for a 5 pip stop loss, and it goes down just 5 pips, actually 8 pips, so not a very impressive move. But if you did hold it for a little bit, that goes down 20 pips, so a nice 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio. We'll see if we can find any bigger kangaroos. Now, this one, you can see what's wrong with this, okay? So ideally, we would want a kangaroo to be right here, wick up, but instead we have this one down here, and we got way too much congestion in the market. You'll hear me say that a lot, and that's not really impressive room to the left, because like I said, we want the best kangaroos to be on top of a zone, and here it just looks really funky. So I personally would stay out of this trade, and you should too. So let's take a look at a couple more. So the next kangaroo right here, okay, remember when they print on a bullish kangaroo, which is this one, you want to wait for the next candle to clear, which it did. So our trade would have been triggered. So let's see how many pips that would have moved. Trade triggered. It goes up 8 pips, down 5, but it never clears the stop loss. Now our stop loss would optimally be right here by the wick, and it would just keep going up. So about 30 pips. Now remember, this is AUDCAD, so this pair moves a little slower, which means you would do a little bit bigger lot sizes. Let's just keep moving on. Let's look at a lot of kangaroos in this video. Now, right off the bat, this kangaroo, it looks kind of iffy. Right there, it would have been triggered actually, and that would have been a perfect move. And let's see how many pips that would have been. So about a 6 pip stop loss if we're not taking into consideration the spread. And it drops about 22 pips, so a good 3-to-1 risk to reward. Now, this one right here, right before here, there's a couple things wrong with it. One, the tail is very small, and the smaller the tail, the less accurate they're going to be at times. So you really want to find kangaroos that have longer tails. But you can see this one barely meets the criteria, but it does clear, and there's plenty of room to the left. So that one is a good kangaroo. This one, not so good because of the small tail. So this kangaroo here would never have been triggered because the next candle, price does not clear where we need it to clear. But there is plenty of room to the left. So you got to have strict rules with the kangaroos. You can't just enter. You got to wait a little bit. You have to wait for the right moment, and you got to wait for price to clear where it needs to clear. So this one is pretty congested. I mean, you got a little bit of room to the left, but it wasn't impressive as the last one we just looked at. There's more room to the left on this one versus this one right here. I mean, I personally would probably have not taken this trade. Maybe a couple of you would, because remember, we're not going to be perfect. Our emotions do get in the way. It's easier in hindsight, but backtesting does give you confidence in the markets for future potential profits. Let's look at this one. So by waiting, we prevent a losing trade. Instead, price reverses right here, and you would never have been into this trade. All right, now we're getting into some interesting ones. So this one right here would have been a losing trade. It does go up, but it would have been stopped. But this one here, okay, look at what we noticed. The tail is very long. It extends past the zone. Let's pull up our line chart. and I see a zone about right here. So easy way to find the zones, just pull up the line chart. You'll see me do this a lot in my videos. You'll also see me do this on my Twitch live streams. And if you'd like to tune in on weekdays, I do have Twitch live stream sessions. I'll leave the link down below so you can go ahead and join that. I have all the times posted as well in my YouTube description. So we know that trade would have been triggered. A little bit of drawdown. Your stop would have been about 8 to 10 pips, and it goes up 8 pips. So not the biggest move, but remember, we're on AUDCAD. In some other videos, I will do some GBP pairs and catch some bigger moves on these. So this one here, this kangaroo, look, there's not too much room to the left. The trade would have been triggered. Okay, this trade would have been triggered, but shortly after that, you may have been stopped out depending on when that trade was actually triggered. This one is a better example because the wick extends past the zone that we see right here. Okay, there's the zone and it extends past here, right there. The very next candle, it gets triggered and it goes all the way down. So how many pips would that be? You got 5 pip stop and it goes down 15 pips. So about a 3-to-1 reward to risk. So that's not bad. This one, well, you guys can see right away, this trade would have never been triggered either because, look, price never cleared the low of this bearish kangaroo. And now here is a more ideal one. Let me clear that. Now let's look at this one. So right away, I really like this one because we got a lot of room to the left and it extends past this little zone right here. And what happens, it just goes straight up, no drawdown, and it climbs 32 pips, but your stop would have been super small, just about 4 or 5 pips. So really good reward to risk ratio right there. So we can't actually see this one. So here's 2 good kangaroos in a row. This one here, okay, very next candle, it triggers immediately and it continues to go up a little bit. So that would have been a winning trade. This one here is a little bit better because look, we can see the tail extends way past these other candles. We got good extension there and we got some good room to the left. And the very next candle, the trade is triggered. And how many pips would have this been? So you got about 8 to 10 pip stop and it goes up about 20 pips. So 2-to-1 reward to risk right there. Me personally, I do not like doing 1-to-1 reward risk. I want at least a 2-to-1 risk, ideally, 3 or 4. We got to get our money's worth. We got to make sure we can get some big wins that will cover those losses that you will catch in a row. See any better ones. Okay, we might got some action right here. How much room to the left is there? Well, it does clear these other candles right here. So this would have actually been a safe room to the left rule. Let's see, on the very next candle, the trade is triggered. So right here, this is where your trade would be triggered and a super small stop. So we'll say about 4 or 5 pips because you got to take in consideration of the spread. And did it actually clear? Yep. So your stop would have been safe right here if you added a little bit of buffer. So a good idea is to add a couple pips to your original stop just to cover the spread if anything goes wrong, So if you held this trade and it goes down here, so that's a good, 65 pip drop off a 5 to 6 pip stop. So super good reward to re-risk. And these are more ideal kangaroos when they extend past the zones and you see them on top of an uptrend. So very good opportunities right here. This kangaroo right here, would it have been triggered? Let's take a look. Possibly. I mean, it's right there on the borderline. That trade could have been triggered, and if you held it, it went down 15 pips. Your stop is about 7 to 8 pips. But if you held that kangaroo, you would catch an easy 40 pips off 8 to 10 pip stop loss. So a lot of good opportunities on kangaroos, even on the 15-minute chart. Now, I want to show you a free indicator that I use that will help you decide what lot sizes you should use if you are trading on slower pairs such as AUDCAD. So let's go over to real time. This is right now, March 26, 2:51 p.m. here in California time. So an easy way to figure out what lot size you should use is to download the free indicator that I'm going to leave in the description. You can download this on my Telegram channel, The Kangaroo Hunter. So this lot size calculator, very simple. Okay, you just put in your risk percent. Let's say I want to do 1.25%. So you put in your risk percent, you push OK, and you simply drag this pink line. Let's say I want my stop to be here. So That's about 13 pips. I click lot size and it will tell me which lot size I should be using. So I could use 6 micro lots according to 1.25% on my risk management. So it's a very, very handy indicator. Also, if you want the free pip counter, you'll also find that in my Telegram channel. So you don't got to pay anything to get my free content, because my goal is for you to just follow along. And if I can teach you some things, awesome. Okay. I hope what I teach you, you can take that and make tons of more money than I can, okay? So don't compare yourself to other traders that are winning more trades, okay? Everyone starts at their own level, and we level up slowly. And that's my goal with these videos, trying to kind of help you guys level up, find a sound strategy with the Kangaroo Tails, because it's a simple way to start trading if you're a brand new trader or whatnot. I mean, even if you're an experienced trader, you trade Kangaroo Tails, you're going to have some phenomenal success as long as you follow the rules. So guys, thank you for watching this video. If you got any questions, as always, drop some comments. Contact me on Instagram. It might take me a while to answer you back because many people are asking me questions, but I will eventually answer back. So with that said, like and subscribe this video, and I'll see you in the next video.